Om Tvameva Mata Sapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Thou my mother, thou art my father, thou art my friend and companion. Thou my wisdom, thou my knowledge, thou art everything, O Lord of Lords. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace. So we are back to our Narada's way of divine love, and we are reading from Swami Prabhavananda. So we have discussed last few classes about the unique characteristics of a knower or knower who is about the person who can cross the Maya, the qualities, the special features of a person who can cross the Maya. What are the wonderful characteristics? And that is really the goal of all devotees to reach that Maya. That is the goal of all Vedanta students to cross Maya, Jnana path student. That is the path for Bhakti Yoga. That is the path. That is the goal, not the path. That is the goal of even the yogis to cross this Maya. Maya is a universal subject. How to cross that? How to overcome that? So we have studied that from the verse number 46. Narada described that we have given few characteristics. Just I'm touching the names of that. Who can cross this Maya, unsurpassable Maya? Jasangang stajati. Count it. One. He who gives up association, bad association. Yumahanubhavam sevate. Second point. He one who serves the holy men or the holy ideas, holy spiritual ideas. And nirmamo bhavati becomes ni mama. Not me, not mine, O Lord, it is thee and it is thine. So that type momo, possessiveness, mindness, that idea gone. Second, these are the three qualities in 46 verse, 47 verse we have discussed. Yo vivikto sthanam sevate, he who serves to live in solitude. Solitude here is the solitude. Everything may be there clouded, but to enter, who can enter into the solitude, or physical solitude also. His tendency is to not to be like a rajasika person. Lokabandham unmulayati. He does not want to be a social person. Always going to make friendship with people, and because this friendship is so superficial and the time and energy goes, they come back to love God and to focus there rather to make all relationship there. And nishtriguno bhavati becomes triguna beyond the three gunas. And also is so dedicated in the love of God that yoga, shemam, tajati. He does not pay much attention what will happen to him. So he will procure things for the rainy days or what he has to preserve. He gives everything to God. Just lives the life for God. Next in 48 we have also heard the qualities Yah Karma Param Tajati. You see, though it is a Bhakti Yoga, it's talking of Karma Yoga, talking of Jnana Yoga, talking of Dhyana Yoga. Vivikta Senam means what? That's why people say these are all superficial distinctions. It's not that different. But if you follow one, others will come in life. So here also, he says, Viviktur Sanam Sevate. That means he loves to be in solitude. Means what? What he will do in solitude? He will cry for God, he will meditate on God, he will pray to God. No? So there's a book, Dhyana Yoga. And also discarding the relation outside distraction with the people and materialists, those who are in the worldly people, to avoid them. And also gives us this attempt. The sadhus live like that. Yoga Ksemam Tajati. That's why while birds live on that. Birds don't collect food for tomorrow. They are hungry, they go for search for food. If something gets, forget. What they will have in the afternoon, they don't know. If they get, they will get. If not, they will suffer. So they all, but like it, they become like a bird. That's a quality of a sannyasi. Karma phalam tajati. They do karma, but give up their all results at the feet of the Lord. Even they become so intoxicated in God, karmani sannyasati, even his karma, Vaidhi karma, drops automatically. Tato, as a result, he becomes nirdando, beyond duality. So, how many qualities now? Are you counting? One. Sangans tajiti 1, Mahanibhavam 2, Nirmamo 3, silence 4, then Lokabandham 5, and Dingun 6, Yogakshamam 7, and Karma Phalam 8, Karma 9, and Danda duality goes beyond duality. That is the 10. Vedana Pishananasati. Then they give up even the dutiful karma which has been designed to be followed for every householder. That sakama karma, the homa karma, yoga karma, which is good. Vedana Vishamanasati. They give up that. 11. Kevalam avichinna anuragam lavate. They have their love flowing uninterruptedly for God continuously. 12. Now 50. This is the 49. And 50, that means 12 characteristics they have mentioned. Narada, that one can cross Maya only if he has these 12 characteristics will manifest in his life. That person who have this character, you know that he has crossed Maya. So Satarati, so Lukang, Starati. So that was the last term, that Satarati. He or she only crosses this ocean of Maya. Yes, he or she crosses this Maya. And not only they cross, they also become the refuge of others. Lokang, Starati, they become the redeemer of others. By their grace, ordinary people can feel freedom. That's why you find so many Jivan Muktas, Bhaktas, those who are intoxicated in God. They help so many people to become spiritual. So this much we have read the last time. Now today we are now reading the verse number 51. That 51 verse says, it is what is that? What is the nature? Nature of this love is what is the nature of love? It has been told before also. But it is said that it cannot, its nature is like Brahman. It says, Anirvachaniyam prema swarupam. It is anirvachaniyam. It cannot be defined. You cannot say it is like this, it is like that, it is like that. And it is prema sarupam, but it is the essential nature of the love. That means there is only love and love, absolute bliss and absolute joy. That is the only thing.
That was said in the very first verse.
Yeah, that's why defining that is the thing he is defining again. That what is the parabhakti, supreme devotion. That's why the real nature of this supreme love is what? You cannot express it. That is the point. If you have that love, if someone asks, what is that? Huh? Ramakrishna was asking, being asked, what is that samadhi like? And then some Sarvadevananda asked that question and others. And Ramakrishna was trying to his best ability to say that as soon as the mind goes to the heart chakra, and he wanted to describe a little bit. But by that time he started describing, he gone. He'll have samadhi. That means he's absorbed in that love. You cannot express. It is next verse you'll find 52. You'll say it is like a muko aswadana. It is like a dumb man trying to express his experience of a delightful taste. So if you give a very nice meal to a dumb person and say, hey, how did you like it? Because he have no language to express. So he will not be able to say anything. Only his facial expression of joy will indicate that it's very liked it so much. What is that supreme love? Look at the face of Ramakrishna. He could not say, but his face is telling that joy, that unfailing joy. It is bursting out without, when in samadhi mood. This is also samadhi picture, but that standing position where Ramakrishna is being held by Hridayaram and one hand up with some mudra, left hand like this. You see the face. He is not saying anything, but he is saying so much. So this is the supreme devotion is what? At the beginning, as you said, we said, what is the devotional definition? It has been said, it is sa tasmin parama prema rupa. That's one way of saying. That is of the nature, second verse we read, what is the nature of that bhakti? It is parama prema, tremendous love, supreme love. Only the language can say. And it is of the nature of Amrita Sarupa. That was this third verse. It is of the nature of nectar like. It is like a nectar. It is like the supreme love, and attaining which one person becomes perfectly fulfilled. Siddho bhavati, amrito bhavati, tripto bhavati. One gets fully satisfied. Now, the same idea is given here. And there also in the fifth verse, we have read all this, 1 to 5, if you go back to the original. There we have discussed Jat Prapyo, attaining that love. Nakinchid vanchati. He does not crave for anything else to get it. In material world, anything you get, you have still desire to get something more. But this bhakti, parabhakti, supreme love, if one gets it, so you will no more have any desire for anything else. And not just he does not hate anyone, he does not lament for anything, he does not enjoy any other thing or become excited for anything else. And only he becomes intoxicated. Stabdho bhavati, sometimes become dumb and calm, still, and becomes totally absorbed in the joy of the self within. So these are the definition. Again, this bhakti has been defined here that this bhakti is supreme bhakti. Bhakti of two types. One is the supreme bhakti, another is the gauni bhakti or secondary bhakti or the preliminary bhakti, where people start with, and this is the culmination. It is a maya tito we have just read. If one goes to the beyond maya, then that type of bhakti is manifesting in them. And now he is defining again that this type of people attains to prema bhakti, love supreme, parama bhakti, and that can be only of the nature of love and love and love, bliss, love, blessings. Because anirvachanam, why it is anirvachanam? As you cannot describe by words what is Brahman like, how many scriptures have been designed in the Hindu scriptures, no? Tons and tons of books, starting from the Upanishads, Gita, and all the Dharma Shastras, these Shastras. But talking whenever Brahman issue comes, they have talked about the highest goal. But that Brahman cannot be just specified. That's why it is said, Anirvachaniyam. And Anirvachaniyam, in Vedanta also use the term Anirvachaniyam, non-Nirvachaniyam. No, you cannot describe it, indescribable.
But that is in context of Maya.
Maya, yeah, both. Maya and Brahman, only difference is that Maya has no beginning, no one knows. But Maya has an end. When you realize, or when you be steeped into samadhi, when you have Maya, you can cross. That means Maya becomes non-existent for some person. But Brahman, no one can fathom the beginning, fathom the end. They die. They themselves die. So this is the difference. It is called Anadi Ananta. Brahman is Adi, beginning, no end. But Anadi, it has no beginning. We do not know when he started this. But it has not, like Brahman, it is not infinite. It has an end. When one realizes Brahman, or in the path of Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, any path, then this Maya is no more there for him or her. He sees saturated with bliss only. Where is Maya? As Brahman cannot be described, so the description of this love, supreme love, is impossible because it is beyond speech. Avang manasagocharam. And Gita, our Upanishad have described this. It is avang manasagocharam. It is beyond bhak, mana, and all the spiritual practices end in what? In attaining that supreme love. No one can describe the supreme love. It is only then it is pratibodha viditam. It can be only realized in every feeling, every pore of the body. That joy, that love, supreme love will manifest. So that is the only thing. But if you want to express, you cannot. Like that. That if no one can do that, like someone says, Ramakrishna used to say, how is clarified buttermilk? How does it look? Only the response is that that person who have it is clarified buttermilk, like clarified buttermilk. How can I describe it? That's why it cannot be expressed. So On page 123, Swami Prabhupada explains this way, that the real nature of this supreme love, verse number 51, the real nature of this supreme love is inexpressible. You cannot express it. As has been explained in the commenting on the aphorism 15 to 30, it is impossible to express in words the experiences of this supreme love, which is realized in the state of nirvikalpa. He is explaining in the mostly Bhakti Sutra, but in the Vedantic term mostly. So, simple word that as we have talked about while explaining the verse number 15 to 30, it is impossible to express in words the experience of the supreme love, which is realized in the state of nirvikalpa samadhi. We find that Sri Chaitanya is dancing and singing and going to ecstasy like Ramakrishna. So long he is in the material plane, he is dancing and singing and joyfully just creating that environment. But when he goes to Samadhi, he becomes still and only could not say any word, even no music comes out, no language comes out. So once the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna urged the master to describe the supreme experience. And when he made this attempt, he immediately went into a samadhi. Every time that he sought to express it in words, he would have the experience itself when he is trying to express, but he goes into that experience and he stops. So every time he sought to express it in words, it is this experience, he could not. He would have experience and there would be complete silence. So this is the definition that the supreme love cannot be expressed. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that is like a salt doll wanting to measure the depth of the ocean. The salt doll wanted to tell others how deep the water was, but as soon as it got into the ocean, it melted. Then how could it report on the depth of the water? There also another example Ramakrishna gave. Beyond the wall, there is a big fun and joy going on, mart of joy going on. 3, 4 friends were going. One of them said, "Hey, what is going on that side?" Someone said, "Okay, let me climb. You help me." So one friend was helped to climb, and they climbed on the wall, Ramakrishna's story. And as he saw the joy, tremendous joy, he forgot that what I'm doing with my friends and roaming around in the world. Just he saw that and become totally lost into that. And he fell down on that side and ha 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 with joy. He did not come back. That's why it is said you cannot describe. Such is, how can you describe? Our Upanishad have described the joy. A joy a young man experiences. Suppose a person with all the senses are strong, powerful, and man of dignity, chastity, just he enjoys the youthful life, full of vigor and strength. His joy is how much? Now he said, multiply this 100 times. Yeah? And that man, that young man, is now absorbed in God, no? Or he becomes the king, suppose. Such powerful man becomes the king. How much is the joy? Make 100 times of that joy. 100 such kings' joy. What will be the joy? That means he's giving an idea, Upanishad, in a very mystic language, telling us the example, how that supreme joy is so much, so great, we cannot count by number, or he cannot describe in any word. And then he multiplied. He becomes the king of the whole world, and then multiply that 100 times. Then you become the Mahorshi, Devorshi, like that. Go on, go on, go on. And ultimately, who will say what? That means that Sri Ramakrishna said, very simple language, people can understand. In every pore of the body, people will understand that experience of joy is like every pore of the body, people will feel the sexual energy, the joy of sex. What they get, million times, not one time, two times. Koti Ramanasu. Meaning, Koti means how many? Koti means 10 million. 10 million is called Koti in Bengali and Sanskrit. That amount of joy in every pore of the body. Oh my God! How many pores are there in the body? Millions, billions, trillions. Can you express that joy? How can you do that? Where is the language? Where is the who will be able to do? Even God comes himself, he cannot do that. Got the question of ordinary people. Ordinary people die. That's why it is said there is a man who has come here. At this moment, Ramakrishna people used to say, this moment he's dancing, chanting, dancing, and laughing, and this, and next moment he's totally dead. No breath, no breathing, but emitting joy. The whole congregation, thousands of people. Thakur did that when he went to Sihor in Sihor in the village. Once he went back, and there were kirtan was going on. Krishna, Hare Krishna, that kirtan. It was very popular in those days in the villages. And there was a festivity. So many people, thousands of people came. And Sri Ramakrishna went there and started dancing and singing with them. Puthi, you will get a great description of the Puthi, the portrait of Ramakrishna. In that book, it is described that is such that people to see him, they are climbing on the nearby all the trees. That people cannot see anymore because the land is full with people, and Sri Ramakrishna dancing there in joy. People are climbing on the trees to see Ramakrishna in that ecstatic mood. And that's why it said, Thakur said, takuti, 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 takuti. Takuti means when they play the drum, the drummer in such a way, it makes them takuti, 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 takuti. And said there is the endless takuti, takuti going on, day and night. And then he has to run away. Hriday very intelligently made him escape from that crowd and took out. So see, that is the joy, an ocean of joy. That is the point. So Sri Ramakrishna used to say that is like a third dot. Now Narada gives the example of the 52nd verse. 52nd verse says, Muka Sadhanavat. As I have told you, that it is like a muka. Muka means who is dumb. He have asadhana, he have tested something. And if you ask him, what is the test? He will maybe using some language like a child. We don't make a head and tail of that. So he says, Narada gives the example of a dumb man's experience of a delightful taste. A delightful taste of food, and you ask the dumb person, he cannot describe in words. Similarly, this experience of supreme love for God is only to be felt within oneself and cannot be expressed in words. You can do that up to little point, so long your mind is in the up to sixth plane. Up to there, what stops as it moves here? Thakur said, it goes up to here. You can say, mutter some word. Thakur used to do that when he used to go to Samadhi, and he gave the example. Nitai Amar Matahati. Nitai means Nityananda, is my mad elephant. Means mad elephant madly dances here and there. And then Matahati, Matahati, Nitai gan, Amar gan, these words are gone. Only intoxication, mind is entering. Only the last two words are there. Matahati, mad elephant. Then Hati is gone, elephant is gone. Mata is gone. Hati, 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 hati. Then hati, hati. Hati means elephant, elephant, elephant. And elephant, hati, two words. Ha is also gone. No, T is also gone. Ha, 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 ha. And then ha, 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 ha also gone. So then what will be remaining? So it is just intoxication in the name of God, is deepening and deepening and deepening and forgetful about the whole universe, whole world. So that is the very simple statement. And Narada gave that example that in verse number 52, that dumb man's experience of a delightful taste, it cannot be described in words. Similarly, this experience of supreme love for God is only to be felt within one's self and cannot be expressed in words. Now, there is a story in the Upanishad of a young man who was sent. Page 124. There was a story in the Upanishads of a young man who was sent by his father to learn the knowledge of Brahman. The first time he came back and was asked by his father what had he learned. He gave a fine description of the nature of Brahman. And then the father of the boy then told him to go back and learn something more. That means when he is talking about, he asked, what is Brahman like? And you give a good lecture. That means you have only intellectual knowledge, little bit of intellectual, you have not understood anything. So the boy came back and he had learned so many skills, and Naya, Vedanta, and six systems of philosophy and argumentation and logic and this and that. He thought that he knows the Vedas. But knowing the Vedas is not intellectualizing. Knowing the Vedas means knowing the truth. What is the truth? And that experience. So his father was a Brahmajnani. Also, it is to be learned in a hot Vedic society. The father is a Brahmajnani. He sent his son. Why he didn't teach? Why he didn't teach? He is a Brahmajnani. Why he didn't teach his son? Because son's faith for his father will not be that much. It will be more for another Brahmajnani. So it happens that suppose if your father is a big professor, you are born with your father. Yeah, my father does not know anything. Because your proximity gives this type of feeling. So he himself a Brahmajnani, but he sent it to another Brahmajnani to teach his child. And then he learned under him, he has respect because he is a knowledgeable person, he is going to. My father does not know anything because he is 24 hours with them, eating, sleeping, and talking. It's called the familiarity. Familiarity beats contempt, no? So that's why. But he came back with arrogance. He knew the boy's tendency. When he said, did you ask about Brahman? How is Brahman like? And then he has learned so many things, quoting this Upanishad, this scripture, that scripture, is making a big presentation. What you call, what is presentation?
Lecture.
No, PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint presentation. New thing, so much. But father said, you have learned nothing. Go back and learn more. And then he went back. The father of the boy then told him to go back and learn some more. The second time he came back and was asked the same question by his father. Then the boy remained silent. When he asked, That time, then he said, just chup. He could not say anything. Now the father understand. Then the explained, why, my boy, your face shines like a Narada Brahman. You have experienced him. His name is silence. What is called Brahman? Brahman's another name is silence. And we also hear that story, that one student came to, in our Yoga Vasishta book we read, Baskuli. Came to his guru, no? And Baskuli, then Baskuli guru or Baskuli the student? Baskuli is the guru. The student came to Baskuli, one teacher. His name is Baskuli. And he asked, sir, please teach me what is Brahman like. He expected like us, we want to go anywhere, means put question and to say something, express what is Brahman is infinite, Brahman is that, it pervades everywhere, it is beginningless, endless, Maya shows this thing, Maya is, as we always talk like that. Then, but he didn't say anything, he remained silent. And the student thought that he is ignoring. I'm asking a question, suppose someone asks you a question and you become, then what does it mean? You are unwilling to respond. Then he said, no sir, I am a very sincere student, please teach me what is Brahman like. Second time, also Baskuli remained silent. And third time when he asked, then also he remained silent, and after that he said that, sir, please tell me, I actually want to know about the reality of Brahman and how is the experience. Then the teacher said, my child, I was teaching you, telling you what is Brahman, but by silence, but you don't understand it. That means silence is the name of Brahman. If you really a Brahmagyani, you have no noise anymore. Ramakrishna gave a beautiful example. You have any experience that we in India we have experience? You take a empty jar and go to take a bath in the reservoir. We have called ponds. And if you go, ladies normally used to carry drinking water or fetching water for household duties. So they used to take the bath and bring some. So as soon as you dip the empty empty jar, it makes bhak, 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 bhak. So long it is empty, water entering and making a noise. So we are already empty. So talk, 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 talk. And then when it becomes perfectly full, you see, that time no noise, it's perfectly, picture is full of joy. So when the fullness comes, then the noise stops. Thakur also gave the example, another example. When the bees, they are running here and there, flipping their wings, sitting on one flower to the other flower, and then just started sucking the honey. Before that, fluttering is going on, going on, going on. And then putting the mouth as just trying to suck, fluttering is less, less. And actually when it gets engaged, no fluttering. That is the sign, enjoying the bliss only. External activity stops, external expression stops. So that is the example. Ramakrishna, here is the example. Sri Ramakrishna gives the illustration of a bee making a big noise until it sits on a flower. As it sits on the flower and sucks the honey, it becomes silent. Sometimes when it has become drunk, by drinking deep of the honey, it makes a sweet humming noise. After filling your stomach with full of honey, then also again bee dances. But that is joy, Dance of previously it was fluttering for hunger, out of hunger. But now they also flutter. And the birds, you see the birds also fly. But when their belly is full, they return from the beach, and other times you see they finish their meal, whatever God could get, and now they are going back home. See, they are free soul. They are flying in the sky and sometimes dancing and rotating and playing. That is the playful joy, joyful, playful. So it is the two things. One is fulfillment has come. So the bees are fulfilled, they also hum. Brahmagyanis, they also talk, but they also talk of God. And before that, they stop that talk, worldly talk. They say, talk, talk, both are talk. One is worldly talk, and when it gets into the love of God and gets sucked into it, his talks and other things drops off, and he gets absorbed, and perfectly he is to himself. There is nobody in the world but God and the person. And when after that experience he comes out, again he speaks. Ramakrishna. The example. He gave up all association, his own family, his own wife, what, or any relative. And he forgot his body. And only God, only God, only God, crying, weeping, meditating. And when he get back again he came into the world of talk. And that's why you get the gospel of Ramakrishna. And the gospel is nothing. It is only few days description. If we get the whole gospel, Ramakrishna, what he has said, that would have been, it is impossible to fathom. It is how many volumes would have been. Because we speak whole day. If someone records what we talk, it will be few cassettes will be full. If one day's talk, if we record. So Sri Ramakrishna talking whole day, but he's talking about God. So how much recording, if it is all done, recording instruments were there, the world will be filled with his message. But now even 5 volumes or in 1 volume of the gospel, it is Sri Ramakrishna. So out of fulfillment of the knowing the truth, expression is given there. So sometimes when as the bee making noise until it sits on a flower, as it sits on the flower, sucks the honey, it becomes silent. Again, sometimes when it has become drunk by drinking deep of the honey, it makes a sweet humming noise. Similarly, after drinking deep of God's love and becoming God intoxicated, some speak of the Lord in many ways, but they can never express their inner experiences. They may try to express, but cannot express what they have experienced. Always, as I also say, normal our day-to-day experience that we cannot express even our own experiences, material world's experience. You had a good food, or you have gone to a very beautiful place, have a very beautiful scenic view you have experienced, and when you express, someone asks, how did you enjoy? Our language is very limited. Few words we say, oh, it is fantastic. Oh, it is wonderful. Oh, I've never seen such color. But I understand. I can get a glimpse what you are talking. But what you have actually experienced, you cannot express. No experience can be expressed in language. When you do it, it gets diluted. Your experience becomes diluted when you express it. That's why it is said, when you have a spiritual experience, and don't talk to anyone and everyone. Why? Because that gets diffused or diluted. Only you can talk to such people who are spiritually illumined. They can give some boosting to your experience also. So that is the 52 and 53 verses. And but is it so that only that cannot be expressed anyway. Then he said, no, no, no. There are some special people. They, because of their Shaktika quality, they manifest more rather than others. Like the sun reflect. Sun's reflection maybe on the very dark, say, a very bad, dirty water. And the sun's reflection on some clean water. Sun's reflection on the glasses. Sun's reflection on the mirror. You can say in the mirror, the sun's reflection, best reflection can be felt. God's experience is impossible to understand. Parabhakti, one reaches the supreme love for God. How is that? No one can fully express that. But Ramakrishna, Christ, Buddhas, Sri Chaitanya's, they are the mirrors. They can reflect that joy to the maximum level. That's why this 53rd verse says, Prakasyate Kwapi Patre. There are very rare human personalities or the supreme personalities who have been so pure that their purity can express this love little bit more than anyone. So, though it is inexpressible, Swami Prabhupada translated, though it is inexpressible, nevertheless, it is manifest in the great souls who have attained it, especially those who are extraordinary, as is the extraordinary. See, Ramakrishna's disciple one is realized soul. But the expression what Vivekananda gave, the expression what Brahmananda gave, others also, Mahapurush Maharaj gave. They are not equal, expression wise, but experience is the same inside. But expression depends on the instrumentality, how sharp, how clean is the media through which it is coming. Even ordinary Jivan Mukta people are also there. They are realized soul. They have experienced the joy and blessings. But to them, because of the prarabdha karma, they sometimes become angry. They can become hostile, apparently. But from their heart, there is nothing. But because of the karma, the body, which was the instrument through which it was manifesting, that instrument has its own trajectory. So, it is true, Swami Prabhupada says on page 124, it is true that this experience of supreme love, the experience of unitary consciousness, realized by the great ones, is inexpressible in words. But nevertheless, these exemplary lives are guideposts to spiritual aspirants. It is up for us, we people, they are the guidepost. They are like examples. Seeing them, as we see always, our Swamis who we have seen, our realized people whom we have come in contact, looking at them, we always say, oh my God, how they could reach this flight, how they could be so detached in the world, how they keep their balance and peace all the time. No? But they have done it. But if you compare with them, there are grades of expression. Expression's grade, not experience. Experience remaining the same. The aspirant can feel in the company of those free souls how they live in a state of blissful consciousness and how their love flows towards all being. He's talking of Swami Brahmananda, Shivananda. So he is talking about them. The aspirants can feel in their company of these souls, free souls, how they live in the state of blissful consciousness. Huh? Say, Mahapurush Maharaj totally paralyzed, but only blessings and benediction. He could not raise his right side. No hand raising, no feet raising. Totally mouth stopped. He could not speak. But anyone, he understands everything. Whenever he is coming, he sends his left hand and blessing, expressing the eyes with the eye, compassionate eye. It is so it is becomes like that. Their love becomes universal. In the presence of my own master, he is talking about Swami Brahmananda, all of us felt a current of joy with ourselves. It's a direct experience. No? In presence of Maharaj, Swami Prabhupada said, we, their own brothers, ourselves, is to felt. What he felt? You don't do anything, but a current of bliss is blowing. I also could say that we had the opportunity to live with certain Swamis who, in their presence, I didn't do much. Just I'm talking with them, walking with them, but the mind was fully charged in a different level. And when they go away for some transfer, or we are transferred to some other place, we are doing our more spiritual practice, but our mind is not lifted to that level. Their presence makes our mind lifted. All of us felt a current of joy within ourselves, and he made us see how simple and easy it is to realize God. God is like a fruit we are holding in the palms of our own hands. He would make us feel that God is nearer than the nearest, dearer than the dearest. Thus, it is that these great ones can communicate in silence the truth of God to their spirit. This is called silence. They don't have to talk much, but in their presence you go and sit. I have seen that. I was walking with the Swami, maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes. He does not speak a single word. I do not know. I'm not breaking the silence. But I felt some type of peace and joy. I do not know. And I used to think sometimes, why I come to this sadhu? That time in a young man, I could do meditation and japa. Go to the temple and sit down. Now I understand. What you don't get by joy, by japa and meditation, you can get by holy company. Because they live in that consciousness. They can lift us. There is a pen picture drawn by Shankar. The master is sitting silently under a tree. He is young, when Sankara. The disciples are sitting around him. They are old aspirants. They become old, practicing austerity, meditation, prayer. But their guru is young, Sankara is young, and their students are all old. Disciples are sitting around, they are old. They are also silent. Gradually, the disciples' doubts, the disciples' are question coming in their heart, and they are not to ask the question, that gets dissolved. You need not have put the question out. Hey, here is my question. Please respond. But as soon as it is coming in their mind by the impact of the Guru's silence, because he is residing in the level of absolute bliss, that all problems are getting resolved. What a beautiful scene. The students are having some questions. It is coming inside. Many people say, we also used to say, that I have some question. I'm sitting in the lecture hall, and the Swami was speaking, and my question, he answered all the question, my question. How it possible? Sometimes we used to ask the Swami, how do you, Swami, today dealt with this issue? And they will hide themselves. They say, no, I do not know. It came in the course of discussion, it came. But that question, which is your question, is being solved by them. So that is the knower of truth. The disciples are sitting around him. They are old. They are also silent. Gradually, the disciples' doubts are dissolved and the truth is revealed to them. The master is young because the truth of God is ever new and eternal. The disciples are old because superstitions and ignorance have existed from a beginningless time. Because our questions are eternal, because we are in ignorance. So it is going on, one question after another question after another question. But this teacher is young. Truth is always young, fresh. Brahmajnana is always fresh. Now, 100 years ago, 1,000 years afterwards, it will be always, knowledge is knowledge. It will bring peace. It will bring joy. It will bring all force of energy. So this is, though inexpressible, this supreme love cannot be expressed in words, but nevertheless it is manifest in the great souls who have attained it. So these are the three verses we covered today. Again, what is that? Three verses are this, that this bhakti is supreme love, anirvachaniya prema sarupa. It is of the nature of the love, and it cannot be described, that supreme love. It is like, how can they describe? It is like a mute man, dumb person who is fed and he cannot express his taste, how he tasted it. It is like that. One gets Brahmajnana, one gets the love, supreme love of God, he cannot express. Ramakrishna could not. And third, but it is not that they could not express anything, they expressed something, and that something manifests through the realized souls. Special people are there through whom it manifests. Not ordinary people can do that. Brahmajnanis, as Brahmavid Bara, Brahmavid Varishta, as in their attainment, they express little more and more. Yes, it is not that it cannot be expressed at all. Srimati expressed love for Krishna, intoxicating love. When Holy Mother went to Vrindavan after Ramakrishna's passing away, she used to live in the mood of Radharani. Sometimes she used to run, Ha Krishna, oh Krishna, and just fell down in the ground on the beach, on the sandy bed. So all the attendants there together, they ran and used to see the mood of Radharani, crying for Krishna, because Ramakrishna's body is gone. So that spiritual mood came. Yes, we can read what Radharani did. We do not know. But we read this description in Holy Mother's life, we feel that, yeah, it is possible. So it happens in some special human personalities. Okay, so we read today 51, 52, and 53. So we'll be reading next day verse number 54. Okay, now we can spend some few moment if anyone has any question. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Arpanam Vastu. We'll be having our next class on Shanti Gita, the song of the peace, song of peace, at 7:30 in the evening. So hope to see you again. So you have no question, so I can take leave, or you have any question? Let me see.
I talked to Karima, and she said hello.
So there is no question. Very good. So see you then at 7:30, whoever can come. Thank you.
So now you can talk. Is like
Yeah, now we can
pretty
take.
much just